Welcome to WNL Sports Weekly. I'm Jeremy Franklin. This week we'll speak with women's basketball coach Christine Clancy, sophomore wrestler Grant Cokeley, and senior men's swimming captain Giovanni Marciano. But first, a quick look back at the weekend in Washington and Lee athletics. The men's and women's swimming teams both picked up dual meet wins against Catholic and Marymount up in Washington. In track and field, Aaron Zhang broke his own school record in the 60 meters, while first-year Lizzie Stanton set a new indoor school record for the pole vault as the Generals opened up the season at the Liberty kickoff in Lynchburg. Wrestling lost Centennial Conference matches at home to McDaniel and Merchant Marine, and on the hard court, men's basketball dropped a 71-66 decision against Lynchburg, while the women fell 60-35 on the road to Virginia Wesleyan. With me now is women's basketball coach Christine Clancy. Christine, welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having me, Jeremy.
The Generals are in the midst of a 6-game losing streak, but your defense continues to play well. You're giving up only about 60 points per game during that span. What's working well for Washington and Lee on that end of the floor?
Well, I think we're really starting to communicate as a team a lot better, and we've been using both our man-to-man D and our zone kind of to mix it up on teams, try to take away their strengths that way. So I think we've been getting more comfortable, more confident on that end, and just believe in it a little bit more than we had at the beginning of the year.
On the other side, the Generals are scoring only about 45 points per game during this 6-game skid. What is contributing to the struggles for Washington and Lee offensively?
I think there are a few things that are contributing to it. One, we've just had a really bad streak of injuries. So we have people coming in and out of the lineup, just trying to stay healthy. So it's sort of thrown off our chemistry a little bit. And I think the other thing is we just haven't been shooting the ball well, and because of that, we've sort of gotten away from the things that have made us successful, just trying to find some way to get the ball in the basket. I think we've seen some good progress when we really execute our stuff in the half court, and I think that it's just going to take a little time for us to get healthy and get good chemistry going on the court.
You have an extremely youthful roster, only one upperclassman on the active roster right now. What are the challenges and the rewards of working with such a young team?
Yeah, the challenges are obvious. They just don't have the experience playing some of these ODAC teams, and they also don't have much experience playing together. So, they're still trying to figure out the chemistry and just how, what everyone's strengths are and weaknesses and how to play together that way. But the exciting thing is they're really eager to learn, and we know that we're building not just for today, not just for tomorrow, but for the next several years of this program. So I think it helps put everything into perspective.
You've still got a long way to go. You're less than midway through the ODAC schedule so far. What are your expectations for the team over the second half of the regular season?
I think for us, we're just really trying to get them to buy in, to control the things that they can control. We've been talking about that a lot, making sure that we're communicating on the defensive end, that we're playing with a rebounding mentality, that we're screening our teammates to get them open, we're meeting every pass, doing all those things that we have complete control over so that we're competing for 40 minutes every game. I think if we do that, we're going to be able to be competitive with any of the teams in the ODAC.
Christine, thanks for joining us here. Best of luck the rest of the year.
Thanks for having me.
I'm joined now by Grant Cokeley, sophomore wrestler from Charleston, West Virginia. Grant, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
From a player's perspective, how would you assess the general season so far?
Every season has ups and downs. This season, by and large, I would say has been very positive. We've lost some tough matches. We've lost some guys to injuries, which happens, especially in a sport as physical as wrestling, happens a lot. But all in all, everyone's improving, and I think that even though we're still on the scoreboard losing the matches, we're way more competitive with the teams that we're facing out there, and much more intense matches, much closer matches than what happened in the past.
You led Washington and Lee with 15 wins as a first year in 2012-13. What were your goals coming into this season?
Just to continue to improve. Definitely want to place higher at conferences, Centennial Conference tournament. I placed 4th last year. I'd like to place in the top 2 this year. Qualify for nationals, which is placing top 3 at regionals, would be great, but at the very least I'd like to place. They placed top 6 at regionals, so definitely want to do that. And then as a team, I think we want to continue to improve and place higher in the conference and the region. We got 8th out of 9 teams last year in the conference. I think we definitely, being a much more of a tournament team than a dual team, would be better suited to maybe get as far as 6th or 5th this year, and also move up higher in the regional rankings, which would be great to build on for the future from now.
The Generals just finished up a stretch of 3 straight weekends with a home event. How nice has it been to have some additional matches in Lexington this year?
Oh, it's great. Not having to travel just makes it a lot easier on everyone. Not dealing with packing, getting everything to go, everything's right there with us. It's just much easier on us as wrestlers and students, not having to travel all over the place. And also it's great because we get to have our parents come down. It's easier for a lot of them, and friends and other fans, which is really nice to have some home support. And Doremus is a great place to have matches with that elevated track. Makes it a very interesting perspective looking down on wrestling matches. So it's really nice to be able to wrestle at home and have people come watch us at home. So.
You're right in the middle of the Centennial Conference season right now. How will all of these dual matches within the conference help you as you prepare for the Centennial Championships in late February?
It helps a lot. The Centennial Conference has a lot of really good wrestling teams in it. Ursinus and Johns Hopkins are both probably, I haven't seen the most recent rankings, but within the top 20 in the country. So it really helps prepare you for those later matches of the season by having tough matches now. You can be all the more prepared for when you're going to have those same tough matches in conferences and regionals.
Grant, thanks for joining us here. Best of luck with the rest of the season.
Thank you for having me.
With me now is Giovanni Marciano, senior swimming captain from Morristown, New Jersey. Giovanni, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me on.
The Generals won a dual meet against Catholic and Marymount this past weekend. It was your first official event since November. How good was it for the team to get back in the pool for an official competition?
I think it was absolutely critical that we were in last weekend. Not racing since November. Sometimes swimmers, they lose their anticipation for starts. It's critical to be in the water racing. Granted, we're in the water training, but the whole racing mentality, getting into that mental readiness, completely different story when it comes to racing versus practicing. So I think absolutely critical, especially with the Blue Mountain Conference coming soon.
The men's team has 11 first years on a roster of 21. How do you view your role as a senior captain, especially with such a young team?
So I think this year, having so many first-year men on the team presents new challenges and new opportunities. As you've pointed out of the 21 men on the team, 11 of them are first years. So we have a really, really young team. And really what that says for that first-year class is that they have the ability to define the characteristics of what the team is going to be like for the next 4 years, at least for them. As a senior captain, I think what myself and the other captains have tried to do this year is see where they want the direction of the team to go and see how they want the team to be formed, because they are the majority of it right now. So I think as a senior captain, there's some direction, but there's also more stewardship in terms of how we want these men to develop the team in the future. So I think very interesting, such a young team, and I am very, very interested to see, once I graduate, how the men perform.
The meet against VMI and Ferrum this weekend is your last regular season event. How significant is this match with the Bluegrass Mountain Conference Championships coming up?
So I think at this point we're about 3.5 weeks away from Blue Mountain Grass Conference. What the Ferrum VMI meet this weekend allows Coach Gardner and the coaching staff to do is to assess what swimmers they think are performing, what swimmers they think will be best in what events at the Blue Mountain Conference, and it allows Coach Gardner to have one more opportunity just to look over her final roster and see who she wants on her scoring team. From a swimming side, as a swimmer, it's another opportunity to get in the pool and race and be mentally prepared for the conference meet when we're tapered and ready to swim our fastest.
What are the team's goals for the conference championship meet in February?
So Blue Mountain Grass Conference is a very, very competitive league for us. My time here the past 4 years, the conference has gotten increasingly more competitive. I think this year for the Washington and Lee men, what we hope to do is bring our best talent there, bring our best times, be able to possibly break new team records, and I think our relays are really hoping to get some NCAA qualifying times.
Giovanni, thanks for joining us here. Good luck the rest of the year.
Thank you.
It's time now for a look at the upcoming weekend. The wrestling team heads to New York, where the Generals will take on host Hunter College and Centennial Conference foes NYU and Johns Hopkins. Back in Lexington, the men's and women's swimming teams play host to VMI and Ferrum, while women's basketball meets Bridgewater in the Warner Center. The men's hoops team hits the road to face Virginia Wesleyan, and the track and field teams will compete in the Marietta Open. For WNL Sports Weekly, I'm Jeremy Franklin. Thanks for watching.